Don't judge a book by its cover. Janitor's talent showed the CEO true heart. The sound of hurried footsteps echoed through the marble halls of Crestfall Enterprises, one of the city's most prestigious companies. Everyone was rushing, executives clutching laptops, assistants juggling coffee trays, and interns nervously glancing at their watches. Among them, quietly pushing a mop bucket, was Samuel. Samuel was the night janitor. 63 years old, soft-spoken, always wearing the same faded blue uniform. Most people passed him without a glance. To them, he was invisible, just another face in the background of their busy lives. But if anyone ever looked closely, they might have noticed the faint trace of paint on his hands, the tiny notebook poking out of his pocket, or the way his eyes seemed to hold 1,000 untold stories. Every evening after cleaning the CEO's office, Samuel would sit by the window overlooking the city skyline. From there, he'd pull out that worn notebook and sketch. He drew people, the tired receptionist who smiled despite her long shifts, the security guard who hummed old love songs at midnight, and even the CEO, in all her power and isolation. His sketches captured what others missed, the hidden emotions behind every face. But no one knew. Not yet. One morning, the company was buzzing with excitement. Posters were being hung up in the lobby announcing, Crestfall Talent Showcase, a night to remember. Open to all employees. All employees, the receptionist laughed. You think the janitors or the cafeteria staff will join? Her friend smirked. Please. They'll probably be cleaning up after the show. Samuel overheard them while wiping down the reception desk. He smiled faintly but said nothing. That night, when everyone had gone home, he stood in front of the poster again. The words, "Open to all," glowed under the hallway lights. Something stirred inside him, a whisper, maybe a memory. Years ago, before tragedy and hardship reshaped his life, Samuel had been an artist. He'd studied fine arts, dreaming of painting for galleries, of capturing the world through color and emotion. But when his wife, Clara, fell ill, he sold his paintings to pay for her treatments. When she passed away, so did his dreams. Since then, he'd only drawn for himself, quietly, privately, in shadows. That night, Samuel made a decision. He went home to his small apartment and pulled out an old wooden box filled with charcoal, brushes, and faded canvases. He began to paint again, this time, not for fame or money, but for meaning. When talent night arrived, the grand hall was shimmering with lights. The CEO, Rebecca Haynes, sat in the front row with other executives. She was known for her cold precision, brilliant, but distant. Her words could make or break careers. The show began with laughter and applause. A marketing intern sang a pop song. An accountant performed magic tricks. A programmer danced surprisingly well. Each act drew cheers. Then, the host stepped up again. And now, our next performer, Mr. Samuel, from the janitorial staff. A few murmurs rippled through the crowd. Some chuckled. A few looked confused. Rebecca raised an eyebrow. "Janitor," she whispered to her assistant. Samuel walked slowly onto the stage, carrying a large covered canvas. His uniform looked freshly ironed, and his hands trembled slightly as he placed the easel down. He looked at the audience, a sea of polished faces, glowing phones, and polite curiosity. Then he took a deep breath. I'm not much of a speaker," he began softly, "but sometimes, words aren't needed to tell a story." He uncovered the canvas. Gasps filled the room. It was a painting, not just any painting, but a breathtaking, lifelike portrayal of Crestfall's employees. Each person was captured mid-motion, the receptionist laughing, the IT guy fixing a wire, the delivery man carrying boxes in the rain. Even the CEO was there, sitting in her office, gazing out the window with a look of quiet loneliness. Every stroke was filled with empathy, every face painted with warmth and humanity. I painted what I see every night, Samuel continued, his voice trembling with emotion. People who work hard, who care, who dream. Sometimes, it's easy to forget that we're all just people trying to do our best. For a moment, there was silence. Real, heavy silence. Then, applause. Soft at first, then louder, until the whole hall was on its feet. Rebecca, who rarely showed emotion, found herself standing too, clapping with genuine awe. But more than that, she felt something unexpected, shame. After the show, she walked backstage, still processing what she'd seen. Samuel was cleaning up brushes, as if nothing special had happened. "Mr. Samuel," she said quietly. He turned, startled. "Oh, good evening, ma'am. I hope I didn't take too much time." "You didn't," she interrupted. "You gave us something we didn't know we needed." She paused, searching for the right words. "I had no idea you were an artist." Samuel smiled faintly. "I used to be. Now I just try to make things a little cleaner, a little brighter." Rebecca looked at him for a long moment. "You did more than that tonight." A week later, an unexpected announcement went out across the company. Crestfall Enterprises to launch an employee art initiative, led by Samuel, our resident artist and janitorial supervisor. The news stunned everyone. Samuel was given a small studio space in the building, where he began teaching art classes during breaks. Soon, employees from all departments, executives, cleaners, managers, and interns, started painting together, laughing, and sharing stories. The atmosphere of the company began to change. Rebecca often visited those sessions, quietly sketching beside Samuel. One day, she asked him, "Why did you include me in that painting?" looking sad. Samuel smiled gently. "Because even the strongest people have moments they hide. But when we see them, we remember they're human too." Her eyes softened. "You're right," she whispered. Months passed. Samuel's paintings began to hang in the lobby, each one a tribute to ordinary people doing extraordinary things. Visitors stopped to look. Employees took pride in their work again. One evening, Rebecca found Samuel once more sitting by the window, the same one where he used to draw alone. This time, he wasn't alone. A group of employees surrounded him, laughing, painting, sharing ideas. Rebecca watched silently, a tear glistening in her eye. Then she said, "You've changed this company, Samuel." He chuckled softly. "No, ma'am. I just helped everyone see what was already there." Rebecca smiled. "Don't be modest. You reminded us of something important." He looked at her curiously. She continued, "That greatness doesn't always wear a suit, sometimes, it pushes a mop." They both laughed, a sound that echoed with sincerity. Later that night, long after everyone had gone home, Rebecca walked past the lobby and stopped before Samuel's original painting, the one that started it all. She stood there for a long time, seeing herself not as a CEO, but as part of a larger, human story. And for the first time in years, she smiled, not the rehearsed, corporate smile for the cameras, but a real one. In the corner of the painting, hidden in small, graceful handwriting, Samuel had written, "Don't judge a book by its cover, for every soul carries a masterpiece within." The next morning, employees arrived to find a new quote engraved on the lobby wall, just beneath Samuel's painting. It read, "Kindness sees beyond appearances. Compassion reveals true talent. And respect, that's where humanity begins." From that day forward, Crestfall Enterprises was never the same. It became a place where titles didn't matter as much as hearts did. Where people saw one another not by their roles, but by their stories. And at the heart of it all was one humble janitor, whose art didn't just color canvases, but lives. Because sometimes, the greatest masterpieces are painted not with brushes, but with kindness.